Okay guys, I'm back. This is video number 2. I apologize, but I could not find that doggone bead to save my life. So you know what? That is okay, because not everything in this life is perfect. So we are making it anyway. If it bothers someone that deeply that it is one bead shy, that's okay. Because, no offense, that kind of sounds like a they problem, not a me problem. And I'm not going to let it bother me. So what we've done is we've tied a single knot. Then we tied a double knot, which is also called a sailor's knot. And then we come back with 2 more single knots. Okay? And then once we get everything nice and cut, we're going to take and cut our string just above the knot. Making very sure we do not cut the knot. Okay? And then we simply work our bead until we get. And it's pretty, you see? And unless you're going to sit there and count, you're not even going to notice that it's not exactly the same. So you see, here's a set of 3. They all blend. They can be worn stacked. They can be worn individually. It's up to you. So we're going to make one more in this here video. And thankfully, I'm excited because we're going to be using what I call regular size beads. And that means I am able to use my 8mm, which is fantastic because with limited vision, it's just so much easier to see and to work with it. So here we go, back with our stretch magic. And we're gonna clip this off because that's just my own preference. And yes, you can use a bead needle. Or not. Each person is different. Sometimes I use a needle, sometimes I don't. It really just depends on what bead I'm using and how my hands are doing. You name it. So, to each his own. So, we're going to play with these bright fuchsias. I have somebody that was looking for some fuchsia beads. So we're going to see what we can't do with these. And because they're so bright that you need sunglasses, I think, to wear them, we are going to tone them down with some clear beads. These particular beads are not glass. I believe these are acrylic. I could be wrong, but I really think these are indeed acrylics. Okay. I like to make my bracelets between 7 and 7.5 inches, depending on who I'm making it for. And I also like to actually do bracelets on wires at times. It just depends on what the person's looking for. So let me show you up close. Here is our fuchsia. Okay. They are very faceted. Okay. Very bright. You could wear sunglasses, like I said. But we're going to tone them down with some of these white, these clear beads. Alright, so what we're going to do is we are going to go to, we're going to put a clear bead every other one, I think. Because in my opinion, for what it's worth, these are just very, very bright beads. And they're a beautiful color. Don't get me wrong. They are. but they need a little bit of tone down. Now, we can absolutely make them more or less, in that we can add a different shade of pink to go with it, which I did not want to do with this one, simply because of the fact that it is so bright. It is definitely, to me, more of a standalone shade. So let's see where we are with this. Okay, so we have our beads laid out. Okay, let's go. Let's do this, as they say. We're going to see how it goes with the needle, because these being as large as they are should in fact be easier to thread. Sometimes you will see me do my needle and pick up the beads off the board. It just depends on what I'm working with. But regardless, now let's get back to chatting. Fellow crafters, I need your help. I need you to tell me your favorite coloring books, your favorite coloring materials, my beaders. What types of beads do you like? What kind of findings? That's my hardest thing, is figuring out the findings. I need findings that are user-friendly in a way, but also that are affordable. I am on disability. I do not have a lot of extra expendable income, but that's neither here nor there. When I purchase something, however, I like to make sure that I'm getting something that will work for my need. Something that is feasible, that will do what I want it to do, and not just waste money and take up space. So, tell me your go-tos. Tell me what brands to avoid. Tell me any simple designs. If you have a simple instruction, especially something that I can print, please leave that in the comment below. Because things that are printable, with my vision issues, I am able to use my magnifying glasses, and I can see things better than I can sometimes if I try to watch like a YouTube tutorial or something like that, just because of the fact that I can't necessarily see every particular step, and it gets very difficult. And I don't know about y'all, but I get kind of frustrated, and I don't want to be frustrated. This is stuff I love to do, so I want to keep doing it. What is tips and tricks, for instance, when it comes to shading and highlighting? What works best for you? Where do you like to color? Where do you like to do your beading? I love to diamond paint. That's something else I'm really into. I have not diamond painted for a little while, simply because the ring light that I had, that I relied on to be able to see to do my diamond painting in my room, where I have everything set up, the cord went out. So I need to figure out how to find a replacement cord, maybe, if they sell just the cord, because I actually have two lights that the cord just doesn't work. So I'm thinking if somehow I could replace the cord, then I could use that and feel like I'm making good progress, you know? Now, what makes you happiest in your crafting adventure? I know if we all are talking outside of crafting, there's numerous things that are not tangible. And I totally support that 1,000,000%. My family, my faith, my friends, all those things absolutely are priceless. However, I'm simply talking on a budget wise, cost effective way. What are some things that I can add to my Amazon list that I will have below? Not, again, not expecting or asking anyone to purchase anything for me, but for recommendations. Your true, honest experience review, so to speak, about something and what does or does not work. Things that maybe I have on my list that you find are really not very good, very practical, but you found something that works better, especially like finding wise. Um, for like because the reason my list is going to be there and up, and I'm keeping a list and all, not just for family and friends for like birthdays or Christmas, holidays, whatever, but for myself. So when I find myself with a little bit of expendable cash, expendable money, funds, whatever you want to call it, that I can go and treat myself to something. I would like to treat myself to something that is good. Something that will be beneficial. All right, let's see where we are here. Okay, so we're going to take it again. I hold it between my thumb and forefinger. And remember, I have a clamp. And I'm going to... Oh, no, that's never happened. Well, guess what? There is a first time for everything, folks. And this is live. This is life. This is what happens. That has, like I say, never happened before. But I'm pretty sure it is because of the fact that I was using my needle. And when you use the needle, sometimes your beads, to get them over the needle, because it is doubled then, your string and stuff, sometimes it's a little thicker and it might actually stretch things out a little bit that are not supposed to be stretched out. So yeah, that's probably part of what just happened. But again, it's real life. It happens to everybody. And if you say it's never happened to you, good, great. I'm happy and proud for you, but I am not about to lie to you and say that that has never happened to me before, because that would be a bold-faced lie. That is all there is to it. So, we are simply going to figure out and restring. So, let's see if I have any in my gown. And I don't. Okay, so that's good. That means some of them probably made it into the bowl. Here's one. Okay. Alright, let's see where we are. And if I have to pick up beads off the floor later, I just pick up beads off the floor. Okay. No biggie, right? Right. This is real life. This is what happens. And it happens to the best of us. And I would much rather it happen to me live and let you guys know it's not a big deal. Don't stress about it. Don't worry about it. It is really and truly a-okay. I promise. Because guess what? It's not the first time it's ever happened. It is the first time it's ever happened with that string, simply because of the type of string it is and the thickness of it. But I can honestly say it is most likely because of the fact that it was through a needle and that means it was doubled, and it was kind of difficult for me to get it through. So that means it was probably stretching and bending and pulling when it wasn't supposed to. So that means that chances are, yeah, it wasn't supposed to do that double duty, that extra work, so to speak. So we're gonna put, there we go. We're gonna put one more of each, so that when it goes flat, I hope it is good girl, good boy, good whatever you want to call it. And let's do this baby again. This time, no needle. We're gonna go clear, and I would call this fuchsia. Tell me what you would call it. So, other than crafting and coloring and diamond painting, things like that, I also love to read. That being said, my favorite books are Amish books, or Christian romance, Christian fiction, that type of stuff. I don't like anything that has any type of language. I don't like anything that is overtly sexual in nature, things of that nature. I am a Christian, and I'm not telling you what or how to believe. I am certainly not telling you what to read. Those are just my favorite things. So, if you read similar, if you have any recommendations, I would love to hear them. I have to get all of my books in large print because I cannot see otherwise. My vision is corrected with a +9 prescription in my eye. That works. So that gives you an indication of just how difficult reading is if it is not large print, or if it is something I could get on a tablet of some kind. I don't have a tablet. My grandson, who's 4, plays with he calls it an iPad. It is supposed to be reader, but it doesn't read anymore. He watches cartoons on it. Or he plays one game where you match up 3 objects, such as popsicles or basketballs, and then the objects disappear. That's it. So I don't have any kind of tablet or anything. But if I did, I know I would be able to get books on there. So for now, any book recommendations that are clean. I love, there was a series that my dear friend Kim introduced me to. I don't remember the writer. Just don't remember. But it was a Louisiana series, and it featured these older ladies, which now it's funny because, you know, I fit into that category. I am a senior citizen officially, and then some once I have my birthday in a couple weeks. But anyway, yeah, so it was about these older ladies, and most of them were widows. One had never been married, and they were hysterical. And I am in Louisiana. It was based in Louisiana, and it was about all these little mystery cases they would solve on the swamps, and they were so funny. And I read the first like 8 books, and then my vision got so bad I could not read, and they did not have them in large print for the remainder of the series. And like I said, I don't have a tablet or anything to read off of, so that kind of ended that. But I love to read. I used to sew a bit. Can't sew well enough to do that anymore. But I love anything vintage, anything old. I just love life. I love animals. I have 2 fur babies. I have Ted E. Bear, or when he's bad, I call him Teddy Maurice. He is a little Morky. He's 6, and he is my son, my little furry son with 4 legs. And then my kitty cat is Maleficent Rose, and we call her Mally. And she's just a tabby kitty, and I love her. And I am hoping to adopt another kitten soon, because we need a couple more. So, yeah. And if I adopt another kitten soon, it will be a little girl, and after my favorite Disney princess. Her name will be Cinderella, and we will call her Cindy, because my 2 favorite Disney characters are Cinderella for the good, sweet, kind princess, and then for the evil, per se, would be Maleficent. And so, yeah. So, with that being said, who are your favorites? Do you like Disney? Do you have a favorite childhood book? When it comes to favorite book of all time, my favorite book of all time is Louise May Alcott's Little Women, and all of the books that go with that. We have finished our bracelet, so now we're going to snip it again, and let's try this again and see if we can not shoot beads all over the table. Hey, it might be nice. So we are just picking up some beads real quick. Whoops. While I see them. Okay. All right. So here we go. Let's stretch one more time. Okay. And then we're going to tie one single knot. Okay. And then we're going to do a double. 1 and 2. That's a surgeon's knot when you do the double. And then we're going to do 2 more single knots. 1 and 2. Okay. And then we're going to pull it out. And we're going to snip it. And we're going to just hide that knot inside a bead. And the way I do that is I go back and forth nice and slow until the knot literally just slips into a bead. Because I don't want to pull it and pop anything. You know, these are stretch. They are not made to be a lifetime, but you can say what you want. That's pretty. Let's turn the light a little bit better. There you go. Well, with that being said, this is Jennifer with JENN-Menship Tools. I hope y'all have a blessed night. And wherever you are, know that I love you and I appreciate you. I thank you for spending your time with me tonight. And I'm looking forward to all the critiques and the recommendations from you guys on materials and things that work or do not work. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.